Before I begin my video, I want to show you a palace built by one of the South Indian kings in the 11th century and almost 1000 years ago inside Chandragiri Fort. This is located near Tirupati, South India. The palace was converted later as a museum and it is in a very good shape, and visitors are allowed on some weekdays even now. Hi friends, my name is Ramesh, and in this video I will talk about ways of getting funding to begin the new search for MH370 in the newly defined search areas. This is an extraordinary challenge and requires extraordinary funding. Someone on that plane threw a challenge to Malaysia and the rest of the world. Find this plane if you can. Funds for MH370 search. Where to get, whom to get, how to get. These are the big questions. Due to lack of funds, Australia, China and Malaysia announced that they cannot continue the search beyond 120,000 square kilometers. Due to this development, I am outlining strategies, steps with action plans to mobilize the required funds to hunt down MH370. Major stakeholders, as explained in this video, must accept the challenge by committing themselves. No matter what, we will act together and will find you and ensure that no rogue pilot in future will ever challenge the world again. In this video, I have explained about various methods, ways to get hold of the funding required to go after MH370 and locate that plane. To get hold of the necessary funds, Malaysia and Australia should take the lead in running a campaign and contact the leading countries, institutions, Boeing company, Airbus company, ICAO, as outlined in this video. If they follow a determined strategy whose sole aim should be, no matter what, we will find this plane, it will lead to result. Use the 4C formula to get funds. What is a 4C formula? Funds worth millions of dollars will not come to the doorstep of Malaysia just like that. They have to be very proactive in their actions and show leadership to locate this plane. They must approach the other countries, ICAO, Boeing company, Airbus company by using 4C formula. What is 4C formula? Here we go. This is the 4C formula. Contact, consult, change and convince. Contact. Contact the leading countries by taking the initiative and leadership. Consult with them on the challenges faced in the hunt for MH370 and seek their help, support, guidance, cooperation, coordination, partnership and assistance. Change their attitude and preferences from casual to very serious by explaining that locating MH370 in the vast Indian Ocean is a massive challenge, and without their active participation and partnership with the search operations, they cannot succeed in the hunt. Many leading countries are remaining in the sidelines and having casual approach to the operations so far. Convince them to contribute funds to the search operations, as all leading countries are getting billions of dollars of revenue through airline operations in their countries and passengers are paying that amount. All the countries that are listed in few minutes time are having very strong economies, and the amount mentioned is not a big problem for any of these countries or companies. Leadership, partnership, responsibility. Assume responsibility, show leadership and build partnerships. With a strong determination and teamwork, funds will accumulate due to serious and persistent effort, and using the latest and advanced deep sea scanning equipment, new search can commence in the newly defined search areas as soon as possible, and coupled with unwavering attitude will lead to locating MH370 at last. It is absolutely very important to know exactly what happened, not only for the families of those perished, but for the safety of commercial flights, civil aviation in general, passengers and crew members. Do you think Malaysia is not doing enough? Not serious in locating MH370? If you do, then you are joining millions of others who feel the same way. Malaysia should do more, should take the lead in mobilizing funds required for the search. After all, MH370 belongs to Malaysia and the plane originated from Malaysia. Obligation. Which countries have obligation to find MH370? Here we go. Malaysia, China and Australia. Why? I know you may have a big question mark. Why? I will now explain you the reason why each of these countries have an obligation. Malaysia has obligation to conduct the investigation into disappearance of MH370 because the plane belongs to Malaysian Airlines, which is having its headquarters in Kuala Lumpur. MH370 was owned by Malaysia and the flight originated in Malaysia. Australia has obligation as per Chicago Convention because the crash site was near Australian waters and it is the responsibility obligation of that country to coordinate the search. China has obligation because 153 out of 239 people on board were Chinese nationals. China's economy is very strong and it is in the top 3 economies of the world, and their businessmen travel all around the world by air. And so, for the families of those 153 Chinese nationals and for the commercial civil aviation industry, China should contribute this amount, which is negligible compared to their expenditure. I will tell you the amount each country should contribute very shortly. Responsibility. These are the countries. Here we go. USA, Japan, ICAO, Boeing, Airbus and other countries. USA has responsibility as it is the only superpower with immense capability in providing funding, sharing and using most advanced technology, using satellite data for interpretation to define the new search areas, provide most advanced underwater search vehicles, etc. It is the only country on this earth that has the maximum resources and latest technologies that can make a big difference in our quest to find MH370. Also, there were 3 US citizens on board MH370 and they should lead the fundraising campaign. Japan has a responsibility as it is in the top 5 best economies in the world and it is also a member in most of the world bodies. And Japan is now recently trying to get into UN Security Council as a veto-wielding permanent member, and therefore they must offer funds to this type of causes and prove its share of responsibility. Japan's economy is mostly driven by industries and their executives and businessmen travel by air to promote their businesses. So Japan has responsibility to contribute funds, provide its technology and give other forms of support in the search operations to find MH370. This is an astounding mystery and Malaysia cannot afford to forget it. And solving this challenge and mystery is far more important than the money involved in searching for this missing plane. There is so much at stake. In this video, I have explained about various methods, ways to get hold of the funding required to go after MH370 and locate that plane. Boeing company has a responsibility as its MH370 is a Boeing 777-200 aircraft manufactured by it. Finding the truth behind its disappearance is very important for Boeing company, and the company is earning billions of dollars through airplane sales every year. Ultimately, passengers pay this money, even though airlines buy directly from Boeing Co. Airbus also should contribute for apparent reasons. ICAO has a responsibility as it is the world's aviation body that governs and sets standards and policies for air transportation industry throughout the world. Safety of civil aviation is at stake. While traveling over oceans during routine flights, any pilot with bad intention can turn off the transponder, divert the plane and steer into oblivion, just like MH370. My point is, how can we prevent such acts? The airline industry is getting revenue of billions of dollars every year, and governments, airlines, airplane manufacturers, other indirect players like fuel supply companies, travel agents, etc. are getting huge money, and 3.5 billion passengers who travel by air are paying that money. ICAO had done nothing. and did not take any major step after the disappearance of MH370, even after 2.5 years, except organizing few conferences. It is shocking that ICAO had done nothing so far related to live tracking of all commercial flights. Proposals for live tracking and black boxes data to a cloud storage, which were submitted by major industry players like Inmarsat, is still lying with ICAO. So ICAO must contribute $100 million as a minimum, and in fact it should contribute more by coordinating with major airlines. Disappearance of MH370 is unprecedented, and the leading countries of the world must come together, act as one team, and hunt down MH370. Other countries. Some of the passengers were from Canada, 2 passengers, India 5 passengers, France 4 passengers, Indonesia 7 passengers. And funds should be obtained from these countries to unravel the truth behind the disappearance of MH370, as these countries have responsibility towards the families of those passengers. They have to contribute funds to solve the greatest mystery ever in civil aviation and to prevent such recurrences in future. Let me show you how much each of these should offer for pulling up MH370's fund. Here we go. Malaysia, 200 million. China, 200 million. Australia, 100 million US dollars, because Australia has contributed already over 110 million US dollars for the search operations. USA and Japan, US dollars 400 million. ICAO, Boeing plus Airbus companies, 200 million. Other countries, 100 million. Total funds, US 1.2 billion. US 1.2 billion is a marvelous and significant fund to locate MH370. This is a significant amount compared to US dollar 160 million spent so far. This entire amount should be made available in one place to the search team based in Australia. And luckily, if we succeed in locating MH370 quicker than expected and with a lesser amount, the balance amount can be used for research and development of advanced technology related to better airplane tracking systems. So a total of US dollars 1.2 billion can be raised if strategies explained are strictly followed. I hope I made a unique presentation with a unique strategy to mobilize funds to hunt down MH370. I am requesting all those who are concerned with this tragic incident, those who are touched and moved in their hearts by this mystery, those people who are concerned about the safety of air travel, may please post your valuable comments. Disappearance of MH370 is astounding. The challenge is massive. Undoubtedly, this is a game changer. By sharing your views and thoughts, a solution may emerge. Share this video with your friends. If the search team finds 1 or 2 useful tips from my videos and comments across the globe, it may be of help. Subscribe now and watch my other videos on MH370.